if Vere had not silenced her by the merest glances of warning. A proof of his influence over her which had not inclined me toward gentleness with him. When I finished, there was a pause before he turned his dark eyes to mine, and held them there. "Honest enough," he drawled, with that incongruous coast of Maine tang to his leisureliness. "I'll match you there, Mr. Locke. I don't care whether you make $50,000 a year with your music writing, or whether you grind a street piano with a tin cup on top. It's nothing to me. I guess we can do without your lawyer, too. Because, you see, I married Mrs. Vere because I wanted her, and I figure on supporting her. If her folks are too cultivated to stand me, I'm sorry. But they won't have to see me. So that's settled." He was honest. His glance drove that fact home to me with a fist-like impact. There was nothing I was so poorly prepared to meet. Phillida's hands went out to him in an impulsive movement. He covered them both with one of his for a moment, before gently putting them in her lap with a gesture of reminder toward the revelers all about us. The delicacy of that thought for her was another disclosure of character, unconsciously made. Worthy or unworthy, he did love Phil. I am not too dully obstinate to recognize a mistake of my own. Whatever my bitterness against the man, I had to accord him some respect. I sat for a while striving to align my forces to attack this new front. "I don't blame you for thinking what you said, Mr. Locke." His voice presently spoke across my perplexity. "I can see the way things came to you, finding me here and all. I'm glad to have had this chance to talk it out with one of my wife's relations. I'd like them to know she'll be taken care of. Outside of that, I guess there is nothing we have to say to each other." "I suppose I owe you both an apology," I said stiffly. "Oh, that's all right, for both of us. I can see how much store you set by her." "But what are you going to do with her, man?" I burst forth. "Do you expect to keep her here, sitting at a table in this place and watching you do your turn, making your fellow performers her friends, seeing and learning—" I checked my outpouring of disgust. "Or do you propose to shut her up in some third-class boarding house day and night while you hang around here? Good heavens, Vere, do you realize what either life would be for a 19-year-old girl brought up as she has been?" He colored. "As for bringing up," he retorted, "I guess she couldn't be a lot more miserable than her folks worried her into being. But you're right about the rest. That's why I was going to leave her with her folks yet awhile, until I had a place for her. I mean, while I saved up enough to get the place." "But I wrote to him when I failed in my exams, Cousin Roger," Phillida broke in. "I told him that I would not go home. I could not bear it. I was coming to him, and he would just have to keep me with him, or I should die. Indeed, I do not care about places. I think it will be lovely fun to sit here and watch him, or go behind the scenes with him and make friends with the other people. I am surprised that you are so narrow, Cousin Roger, when all your own best friends are theatrical people, and artists, and you think so highly of them." I answered nothing to that. The distance between the stage and this class of cabaret show was not to be traversed in a few 7-league words. I looked at Vere, who returned my look squarely and soberly. "You needn't worry about her being here, Mr. Locke," he said. "I know better than that. But she has to come to me. It's her right, don't you think? I'll promise you to take her to a better place as soon as I can manage." "What kind of place?" "I'm saving to get a place in the country," he answered diffidently. "I'm a countryman and Phillida thinks she'd like it." "You?" I exclaimed, unable to smother my derision and unbelief. My glance summed up his fastidious apparel and grooming, the gloss on his curling dark hair and the dubious diamond on his little finger. He reddened through his clear dark skin, but his eyes were not those of a man taken in a lie. "Did you take notice of what I do here?" he asked me, with the first touch of humility I had seen in him. "I couldn't dance or sing or do parlor tricks. I wasn't bred to parlors or indoors, but I learned to skate pretty fancy from a boy up. My folks' farm was on the side of a lake and the schoolhouse on the other. About November that lake used to freeze solid. My brother and I used to skate 5 miles to school and back again, before we were 6 years old. We lived on skates about half the year, I guess. Well, you don't care about the rest, how the farm was just about big enough to support my elder brother and his family, and I came to New York. Nor how I found New York pretty well filled up with folks who knew considerably more than I did. It was the manager of this place who advertised for expert skaters, who dressed me up like this, and paid me the first living wages I'd had in the city. All the same, I was bred a farmer, and I mean to get back to it. Always have. You're a man, Mr. Locke, and I'd hate you to think I was a shimmy dancer on ice and nothing else, or I wouldn't mention it. My father would have taken the buggy whip to me, I guess, if he had lived to see me in this rig. Soon as I've got enough put by, I'll shed this perfumed suit and the cheap jewelry, and take my wife where she can have a chance to forget I ever wore them." "But I like them," put in Phillida ardently. "Please do not fuss so, Ethan, because I really do." "Do you?" I turned upon her. "Are you sure, then, that it is not all this cabaret glamour you really are in love with? Would you care for him as an ordinary, hard-working fellow, in a pair of overalls and a flannel shirt? No applause, no lights, no stage?" She laughed up at me. "You have forgotten that I met Ethan while he was on a vacation from his work here, and roughing it. When I married him, I had hardly seen him in anything except his navy flannel shirt, scrubby trousers, and funny blunt-toed shoes." "You served in the war?" I asked him. He nodded. "Yes, on a submarine chaser. Got pneumonia from exposure and was invalided home just before the armistice." "And you came back here?" "I came here," he corrected me. "I enlisted from Maine. I was discharged in New York. That was when I couldn't find anything I could do, until this skating trick came along." I sat thinking for a time, as long thoughts as I could command. The obvious course was to send for Phillida's father. Yet what could that vague and learned gentleman do that I could not? I visioned the Professor standing in this riotous, gaudy restaurant, swinging his eye glasses by their silk ribbon and peering at Vere in helpless distaste and consternation. It was practically certain that Phil would refuse to go home with him. What if she did go home? I could picture the scene there, when the truth came out. The mortification of her people, the gossip in the little town, her outcast position among the girls and boys with whom she had grown up. What a martyrdom for a sensitive spirit! Of course, the only possible thing considered by Aunt Caroline would be a prompt divorce. If